Nintendo is trying really hard to tank its reputation as quickly as possible from everything that's gone on in regards to the release of the Switch, raising prices on games, charging out the wazoo for all of its hardware and accessories, leading to a wave of decisions being made by the greater gaming industry. Take a look at what Microsoft is doing, but we've talked about that at length before, but also jettisoning all of its goodwill with this Palworld lawsuit, okay? Their refusal to truly innovate on the formula of Pokemon has led to competitors popping up in the scene, and early last year, about 18 months ago, we had the release of Palworld and its overwhelming success. What was that, 2.1 million concurrent players on Steam? It just being a phenomenon in and of itself because, yeah, it was being sold as Pokemon with guns, but it was far more deep, far more complex than that. And, well, you could take a look at some of the character designs, and if you had a certain type of eye for it, you could make the case that, oh, they're just lifting off of that. But then you have to also realize that, oh, there's a bunch of designs in Pokemon that were also lifted, and who exactly owns the patent on the design for sheep, okay? There was enough changes, there were enough modifications and alterations for Palworld to be its own thing. And then, after seeing its success and Pokemon's most recent release of, what was it, Scarlet and Violet, being not that well received, instead of improving and using it as inspiration, Nintendo decided to get into a legal battle with Palworld and its developers, Pocketpair. So to catch you up on the goings-on of this lawsuit before we get into the newest development, Palworld developers challenged Nintendo's patents using examples from Zelda, Ark Survival, Tomb Raider, Titanfall 2, and many more huge titles. Hot news on the defense of Pocketpair just emerged in regards to ongoing patent infringement dispute between the developer and Nintendo over popular Xbox Pass Game Pass game. That's convoluted way of saying, yeah, Palworld is out there. It's on Steam. It's just, oh man, wasn't that an announcement at Summer Games Fest last year that, yeah, Palworld was going to be coming over at Summer Games Fest or the Game Awards? Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, it's everywhere. You can get it everywhere. I have a copy on Steam. I've yet to play it, but I do have it because I wanted to support something that was, done by just a few people, and plus sticking it to Nintendo for its lack of innovation for Pokemon and the Pokemon company itself being ultimately scummy. It was a protest purchase as much as it was an intrigue purchase. But thanks to incredible investigative work by GamesFray, okay, a platform specializing in gaming legal matters, we now have a detailed look at Pocketpair's defenses in the Japan-specific patent infringement case directed from Tokyo District Court. The findings shed light on Pocketpair's strategy on countering Nintendo's claims and could have significant ramifications for the gaming industry. And this is all over Nintendo patenting. There we go. The mechanic of using spherical objects to in capture anything. They think they own the patent to that. Okay. Pocketpair are challenging Nintendo's patents by pointing to prior art, existing games and technologies that allegedly contain similar mechanics that Nintendo has not also challenged. The argument here is that these patents should not have been granted to Nintendo in the first place because the claimed mechanics were already in use. Pocketpair references a wide range of games, including Craftopia, their own title, Ark Survival Evolved, Rune Factory 5, and even Nintendo's Legend of Zelda. Mods like Pixelmon for Minecraft and Nukamon for Fallout 4 are also part of their defense. Even user-made mods that have been listed in defense. So they'll also go on to cite, Craftopia, Pocket Souls, Ark Survival, Legend of Zelda, Pokemon Legends, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Final Fantasy XIV, holy crap, Far Cry 5, Titanfall 2, Pikmin 3, Dragon Quest Builders, Nukamon, Archage, Riders of Icarus, a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of crap that's right there. But yeah, it's an ongoing legal battle that has been going on for 6 months, because when this lawsuit first came out, it was either at the tail end of 2024 or right here at the beginning of the year. Nintendo decided to get real petty about this stuff, and this would have been a bigger story if it was a different company and if it wasn't Nintendo, because there are so many ball washers for the big N, as has been illuminated in the past couple of weeks with the release of the Switch 2. Oh, I'm going to get such enjoyment on a Mario Kart World. I don't mind paying $80 for something that is an incremental improval on a game that structurally is about 10 years old. Cool, what other games are you going to play in the future on that console? And yeah, pre-orders have sold out everywhere. Yeah, it's going to be huge on launch. It's probably going to be the biggest console launch in history. How are those sales going to be looking towards the end of the year? Don't know for sure, but the goodwill towards Nintendo, it's really starting to dry up. Case in point, from Palworld, we would like to express our sincere gratitude and appreciation for the continued support of our fans over the past few months. We apologize for not being able to share as much information as we would like, but we trust our fans understanding how difficult it is to be fully transparent while litigation is ongoing. Currently, we remain involved in prolonged legal proceedings regarding alleged patent infringement. We continue to dispute these claims and assert their validity of the patents in question. However, we have had to make certain compromises in order to avoid disruptions to the development and distribution of Palworld. On November 30th, 2024, we released patch 0.3.11 for Palworld. This patch removed the ability to summon pals by throwing pal spheres and instead changed it to a static summon next to the player. Several other game mechanics were also changed with this patch. As many have speculated, these changes were indeed a result of ongoing litigation. Everyone here at Pocketpair was disappointed that this adjustment had to be made, and we fully understand that many players feel the same frustration. Unfortunately, as the alternative would have led to an even greater deterioration of the gameplay experience for players, it was determined that this change was necessary. Furthermore, we regret to inform our players that with the implementation of patch 0.5.5, we must make yet another compromise. From this patch onward, gliding will be performed using a glider rather than with pals. Nintendo thinks they own the patent to fucking gliding, bros. Pals in the player's team will still provide passive buffs to gliding, but players will now need to have a glider in their inventory in order to glide. We understand that this will be disappointing for many, just as it is for us, but we hope our fans understand that these changes are necessary in order to prevent further disruptions to the development of Palworld. We also want to extend our apologies to our fans for the discomfort and concerns this ongoing litigation has caused. We remain committed to developing Palworld for delivering exciting new content to our fans. On behalf of everyone at Pocketpair and Team Palworld, thank you again for your continued support. That is their statement that was just released yesterday, and bros, it's as silly as it sounds. Palworld announces more changes, confirms they're forced by Nintendo. Exactly, because riding on monsters, using them to traverse the world, is something that Nintendo thinks that they own. Like, what the fuck is going on, okay? In the months since the lawsuit began, Nintendo has been aggressively updating and editing existing patents in what appears to be an attempt to strengthen their case against Palworld. Many fans have pointed out that rather than attacking Palworld, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company should instead redouble their efforts to making better games. Palworld was released back in January of 2024, and yeah, it has been super popular since then. And it's funny, right? Because we just talked about Palworld, what was that, last week or something like that, where yeah, they got into some trouble by bringing in the lauded type 1, type 2 body types, but that was kind of on their side for their explanation to this. It's like, well, the American audiences like to make abominations for characters, so instead of affiliating that with a male-female split, we're just going to go ahead and do type 1, type 2, because, you know, hey, they want to make monsters, so we want to accommodate with that one. I found it to be very funny, because it's a way to appease some weirdos, but then also, by the people that are in the know, you could probably take jabs at those freaks wanting that type of stuff, and hey, you want to make some freakish stuff, so be it. Live with all of the consequences. I thought it was funny, and while the wider public didn't take that same approach, and were much more negative on that, the wider gaming public are very much on side with Palworld this time around, because you take a look at Pokemon's most recent post on Twitter, you got another game mechanic that has been announced for Legends ZA, where, oh, you can sneak up on somebody and attack them outside of the battle, which, as far as I know, I think Square Enix probably has a lawsuit against you, because all the way back to, what, Final Fantasy 15, I think was the first time we seen this, where, yeah, you can run up on somebody and you can get the first strike advantage if you preemptively initiate a battle. I wonder how they're going to handle this, because that's ostensibly what we have right here. But as a lot of people are pointing out, going to patent this mechanic too. An ambush, you could say. Yeah, exactly. Palworld, better than Pokemon at this point. Your games have been trashed since Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. I got some enjoyment out of X and Y, but everything. Actually, Omega Red, what was it? Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Yeah, that's what it was. I did kind of like those games, but still. Haven't really been innovating all that much. Yeah, looking forward to seeing the patent application. People are very much letting their displeasure be known, and as Grums has pointed out, the Nintendo we love is dying. Yeah, no, that's from everybody who's not in the cult. That's kind of what we're seeing. Sue's Palworld, with patent, only recently filed as a gotcha. Instead of making better Pokemon games, makes $80 games the norm, making Xbox and others raise their game prices, and the CEO, literally named Bowser, doubles down on DEI. Oh, I got something on that coming out in the very near future as well. It's over. What you loved is no different than any other AAA game company right now. But oh no, bros, Nintendo makes games for gamers. Oh my god, they're the only ones that are focused on mechanics. And whatever the other, stupid cope out there is going to be. But yeah, you go ahead. And continue to live on nostalgia fumes, and not acknowledging that just about every game that has come out of a beloved IP from years gone by has done very little to innovate. Most of your 3D Marios play exactly like 64. Your 2D stuff has, outside of a couple of gimmicks, it ostensibly runs the same as 3 or World. Don't try to tell me that Donkey Kong Bonanza, oh cool, it has a digging mechanic, great. Like it's going to be a substantive difference from 64 as well. But hey, you'll finally get your hands on Metroid Prime 4, a game that was announced when I was still in fucking high school. I'm sure it'll be so much different than the other Prime games that came out on the fucking GameCube. Nintendo, yeah, you've created experiences for people around the world that they hold near and dear to their hearts, but that was a long time ago, and gaming is very much a what have you done for me lately type business. And right now, what I'm seeing out of Nintendo is a greedy and desperate company that I hope enough people will repay in kind. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.